We're going to go ahead and start with our post-race media availabilities for the Ford EcoBoost 300 NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're joined by two of our championship four, and we're going to wait just one more second and let a third member of our championship four join us up here on the stage. Driver of the number 1 Chevrolet, Elliott Sadler, 8th place finisher. Driver of the number 7 Chevrolet, 12th place finisher, Justin Allgaier, and driver of the number 21 Chevrolet, Daniel Hemric, finished 34th. Gentlemen, I'll give you all an opportunity real quick just to talk a little bit about how the race unfolded for you, and then we'll take a few questions, and we can go ahead and start. Elliott, with you.
Just very frustrating into the night to be that close to a NASCAR championship and to be raced by somebody that was not racing for anything at all was, put us in a pretty bad position there at the end and let William catch us. And it's very devastating to me right now to have one taken away from you like that.
Danny or Justin?
Yeah, for us, we came down here, we did our jobs, we practiced, qualified, did everything we needed to do to race the guys we had to race, and I was really looking forward to battling it out with everybody with our 21 Poppy Bank Chevrolet, and this wasn't meant to be. We were able to stay out front of those guys the first stage, come down pit road. Thought we were in pretty good shape to kind of make our race car a little better. Racetrack was starting to go through the transition of cooling down and whatnot. So just logging laps, and when we left pit road, I started losing volts for whatever reason, and not exactly sure why yet and all that stuff, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Not ideal by no means, but sometimes just not meant to be. And if it was meant to be, it would, but just wasn't our day. But I don't want that to take away from anything of our efforts that we did all year to put ourselves in position and to get ourselves here. So proud of the effort, and that's why we decided to keep running all the laps, because we didn't give up, and that's what got us here. So we wanted to 12 laps down or not, we wanted to complete the race, and that's what we did.
Justin?
Yeah, our race, unfortunately, much the same as Daniel. We felt like that we did all the work up into this point and did a good job yesterday in practice. Felt like the car had good speed in it. And unfortunately, when the race started tonight, we knew something was way off. We just struggled kind of from the drop of the green. And there were moments of brightness. There was a few restarts where we picked up quite a few spots and thought that, maybe we had a shot to get up there and battle it out. But, ultimately, on the long run, we just really started dropping speed and just way too loose to be able to drive at the end of some of these runs. So really disappointing. As Daniel said, you work hard all year to get to this point, and obviously the goal at Daytona is to have a shot when you get to Homestead. You want to have a shot to go for a championship. Hats off to William. He did a great job, as did Elliott and Daniel all year, both of these guys. Cole did a great job tonight in the race. I mean, he come by me and lapping me, and I was impressed with how fast he was. So I know that next year is going to be equally as much of a challenge. I'm looking forward to it, and just disappointed that we didn't have the night tonight that we needed.
We'll take questions now. If you'll raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. State your name and affiliation. We'll come right up front here, and then we'll go over to Phil, then Bob, then Jerry.
VictorGroupMotorsport.com. Elliott, does it change your mindset at all knowing that Ryan was running for an owner's title about the way he raced you?
He wasn't, because the 22 was a half a lap ahead of him, so he wasn't racing anybody.
Fair enough.
We'll stay over the far left to Phil, then we'll go Bob and Jerry.
Hi, I'm Phil Alloway from FrontStretch.com. This is for Justin. You mentioned earlier you were struggling with a loose condition. We had a 103-lap run the end tonight's race under green. Would, say, if caution had come out with, say, 30, 35 laps to go, could an adjustment actually have fixed your issues, or would it have just undone itself?
I mean, coulda, woulda, shouldas. Unfortunately for us, there wasn't one. I felt like the short run would have been fine. We had good speed, so even without an adjustment, I think we could have at least maintained there. But I knew from watching the truck race last night that long green flag runs were going to be so important. That we saw a lot of green flag runs last night. So, just disappointing. I mean, at the end of the day, we just didn't do our job as good as we needed to, and didn't have the car that we needed tonight. And it's nothing taken away from our guys. They worked equally as hard this week as they have every week. We just missed it a little bit. But to have 4 Chevys going for a championship tonight, to have 3 Junior Motorsports cars, it was a good night. I mean, all in all, even though we didn't get the championship and and things didn't work out the way that that we wanted them to, it was still a good night.
We'll go to Bob right here, and then Jerry.
Bob Parker, CSPN. Justin, did not having Jason impact you this weekend?
No, I mean, I think not having Jason obviously was a big deal, but I felt like as a group we managed very, very well. Jason was equally as involved as much as he could be from not being here, but he was very much involved in what changes were being made to the car and what we were doing as far as the whole weekend goes, and so from that, obviously having Chad come over and be a part of our race team tonight, huge thank you to him for being a part of that. Billy stepping up and being the crew chief this week, and still trying to complete his car chief duties. I mean, there was a lot to take in for this weekend, and I feel like we did the best job that we possibly could, and I don't know that I personally, I don't think that we would have made any decisions differently on setup or what happened in the race had Jason been there or not.
We'll go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan King in the Tires.net Performance Racing Network. Elliott, you were out there. Obviously, the Priest car affected you, but did you, when you were battling with William, how were you handling that? As far as, did you think you could really get back around him? Do you think you could have raced him down and passed him at that point without the interference?
No, I mean, track position was everything, and that's why that late in the run, and that's why we were in the right position. I think when I was 8 to 10 car lengths ahead of William, and with 7 or 8 laps to go, and as long as you can hold your line and keep your momentum up, I don't think the guys could have, no way he could have passed me. And I think when the 18 pinched me off so bad off of 2, and William got that run and cleared me into 3, I knew it had been pretty much over with there. So I mean, it's just the track position was very important.
We'll go right here in the middle to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Elliott, with everything you've done through the years, all the efforts that have been made to win a championship, do you worry that you're destined not to, or can you not think that?
I hope I don't have that outlook, Dustin, but I think that it's very devastating today. I mean, 4 out of the last 6 years we finished second in the points, and tonight is as close as I've ever been to winning a championship. I mean, having to lead the races. I mean, the lead against the 9, the race is in my hands to win the championship. And when I dove down into turn 1, we've been running behind the 18 for 10 laps. And when I dove down into 1, I thought he was going to give it to me, and I was going to slide in front of him, and he just gassed it and pinched me down, and that was it. And that's pretty hard to swallow. I mean, I've been racing a long time. Y'all know that. But I would say tonight is the most devastating and down and out I've ever felt in my career.
Any additional questions for our 3 contenders here? Gentlemen, congratulations on solid seasons. We'll look forward to seeing you in Daytona. We'll continue our post-race media availabilities for the Ford EcoBoost 300. We're joined now by our owner champion team, Roger Penske, and the driver tonight, Sam Hornish Jr. This is Team Penske's 4th NASCAR Xfinity Series Owners Championship. 5 drivers made starts in the number 22 Penske Ford this season. Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Sam Hornish Jr., and Austin Cindric. And the number 22 team has posted 4 wins, 23 top 5s, and 28 top 10 finishes this season. Mr. Penske, that's a pretty impressive, consistent performance over a season.
Well, thank you. I guess when you look at the guys that drove the car, and certainly Sam today, all the pressure was on him because we had the 9, we had the 18, and we had the 20. There was 4 of us that could win this championship. And obviously, the way they ran the race, the strategy was perfect. Obviously, Cole Custer had a great car, and congratulations to him. But more important is when you think about Austin, you think about Blaney, Brad and Joey all driving this car during the season, and the results really, we got to take our hat off to Greg Irwin and the guys around that 22 team because they just did a terrific job. So we're happy with it. Obviously, I hope I'm sitting here tomorrow, but at the end of the day, this is Saturday, and we had a great run.
Sam, for a large portion of especially the final stage of the race, it was you and then 2 of your competitors for the owner title that were just stacked up right there. What was going through your head as those laps were clicking down?
I kept thinking, man, if the 00 wasn't here, we'd be looking really good right now. We'd be putting a stomping on the field. But we were somewhere in between him and everybody else, and I was really happy with our Ford Mustang. We had a struggle getting through the first, actually through practices yesterday. We just were having some issues with our brakes. Made a lot of changes overnight to try to remedy that, and we got them to where they worked properly, and then. I overused them in the first segment of the race, first stage of the race, trying to get the car to turn, and pretty much ran, with the lack of brakes for the last 150 laps. So I wish it would have happened 10 years ago, because I probably would have had maybe a win here by now if I'd have learned what I learned tonight 10 years ago.
We'll now open it up for questions for our owner champion team. We'll start over here at the far right with Joseph. We can get the microphone there.
Joseph Walken, frontstretch.com. Sam, after runs like this and what you've had throughout the season, does this give you confidence that you can do so moving forward, maybe even get another full-time deal at some point?
I've figured out if we keep all the air in the tires and make it past the second lap of the second stage, we do pretty good. So we had a rough go in a couple races where we just didn't have great position at the beginning of the second stage, and somebody got impatient around us and kept us from, achieving the goal that we needed to. But in the races that we've had, when I've made it past there, I felt pretty good about it. As far as how I feel about my abilities, I know that when I get in a good car like I was tonight, that we're going to go and we're going to run in the top three pretty much wherever we run at. I was thinking a lot about coming down here. This is the first time that I've been to a track where running off the bottom is the optimal place in a couple years since I was here last time in 2015, and I didn't know what was going to happen, if I was going to be able to keep it off the wall all night, and the good Lord's good. He gave me a car that I could run the bottom all night long, so I didn't even have to worry about running up by the wall and scratching it. So I was just real happy with it. I enjoy spending the time with my wife and kids when I can do that, and when I get the opportunity to get in a top shelf race car and come out and do it, I got to jump at it, and really thankful to Roger and everybody at Penske for just giving me the opportunity, because there's times when I sit there and I watch it on TV and I go, man, I just wish I could be out there, and then I remember getting in the car and I'm like, it's got to be the right car, because I'm not a very happy person if we're running 25th.
Additional questions for our owner champion team. We'll go right here in the middle. There you
go. John Harville, ESPN Albuquerque. Mr. Penske, I just want to get your opinion of what the stages. How do you evaluate the way the stages have played out this season, and do you think there's anything that maybe should be tweaked or adjusted? Just evaluate them.
I think it's made the racing much better, the strategy. It's, there's some things we know are going to happen on the stage. We're going to have yellows. Obviously, the pit stops in pit lane are going to be more important to be able to execute. But I'd say NASCAR hit a home run. And I think after this first season, the fans will understand it better. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do is communicate it to the general public and say, here's what's going on. But for the teams, it's put a lot more pressure on it. And I think you've seen some of these restarts at the end and after the stages, it's been a lot of elbows. So I applaud them for continuing to try to make the sport better.
We're going to stay over here to the right front to Jenna.
Jenna Fryer, AP. Roger, we had the honor of Mr. Zarnicki yesterday, so we didn't get to talk to you. Your organization has had a very strong year, and maybe the most successful across all the different series. So my first question for you is it a success? Are you content right now, or do you need to win tomorrow and sweep everything?
Well, tomorrow's tomorrow, and I think it's a series that we love. We've had some great success, and we've had some hard times. I think karma must have been with us at Phoenix when you think about where Brad was at Martinsville, and I think the team stayed together. That's a tough thing when maybe the 22 didn't come in, but to me, that really pulled us together, and we're in the race tomorrow. Obviously, we're here to win it. I think that the C2 Fords in there is really key because we have a great partnership with them. But listen, tomorrow's another day, and I'll never be satisfied unless we can be up front. And I think that's what all of us think on Team Penske. But we've had a great season. Obviously IndyCar, we're running well down in Australia, and this is tough stuff here. There's no question. Whether it's Xfinity or the Cup Series, on Sundays. There's so many cars that can win, but to me, our group of people, at Team Penske have just done a terrific job. Our sponsors, we've got, a lot of capable sponsors that have worked with us. So, we're looking forward. Obviously, Blaney's success this year has really made a huge difference. So we're glad for the Wood brothers. They're going to have a full season again based on what we've done for them this year, and we're looking forward to have Ryan in the 12 car next year.
Is Chip fielding Indy 500 car for Danica, or are you in play?
Well, I'm not. I didn't see. I wasn't ready to make an announcement. I'm not sure he is. I sent him a note. I said, "Congratulations, Danica is going to be driving your car at Indy," because unfortunately she's not driving for us. But I think that's a great seat for her. If she is going to drive, that's a great team. They're the ones that have always been competitive there. So I take my hat off that she wants to continue and go back to open wheel. That's going to be terrific for the sport and a lot of interest around the country. I don't think that you can say she's closing her career. She's built a reputation commercially, and certainly it's been someone that we've all looked up to, taking on the group that she has here at the Cup level. And she was a good racer. I think she's going to come back to IndyCar a lot tougher, having run in NASCAR and Xfinity and what we're doing here. I think she's going to be real someone in a good car. She'll pick it up because she's got plenty of time to practice, and it's 4 corners, a little bit different than maybe some races, but I think I take my hat off to her. If she can run the Daytona 500 where she's been on the pole and run competitively, I think it's a great way for her to maybe say, hey, I'm here, I've done it, I'm going to go back to the 2 biggest races and see if I can't get on top.
Sam, you've also said you'd never go back to Indy, which is what she said, but she is going. So your thoughts on Danica?
I think that's it's obviously a great opportunity for anybody that, if it is a close to a career, to be able to go and run the Daytona 500 and Indy 500 a year. You think about how many people, as kids, as adults, no matter what it is, dream of being able to run in one of those 2 races, and for somebody to have the opportunity to do both of them in 1 year. I mean, it's a great thing. Obviously, you think about just the time span and the differences in the cars from probably when she was in them last. There's going to be a little bit of a difference in the way that even just the races are run. So I think that if you look at the way that things are over there, patience is a big key about what the 500 is now, and positioning yourself at the end. And that's so much of what NASCAR is. So I think I agree with Roger on the fact that she's probably going to have a better shot at Indy because of what she's done over the last 5 years.
We're going to go in the back to Jerry and then finish up front here with Kenny.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and Performance Racing Network. Sam, this is for you. Just when you win an owner's championship like this, you've won other championships. Is it different because you had to do it with, obviously other people were part of this? What's the feeling of when you bring it home for Roger like that, when you're battling for a championship that isn't just yours?
It's sure a heck of a lot better feeling than it was 4 years ago sitting here. Finishing second in the owners or in the drivers championship, and just the way that everything played out. I feel great to be a part of it. I really wanted to win at Mid-Ohio for 20 plus years, and to be able to do that this year. I kind of watched as the 22 went through it, and of course my loyalty to Team Penske wants those guys to go out there and win every race, but there's a little part of me that goes, if they win every race or whatever happens and they keep making it through the stages and I get in the car at Homestead, hey, the whole year's on you, so good luck, So there is a little bit of pressure there, and I've always felt like I've been able to deal with that well and to turn it off when we got inside the race car. And tonight, really, after we got through the first stage, was probably one of the most comfortable nights. We just went out there, did what we needed to do. Felt like with a couple changes, pit stops, maybe a short run, that I would have something for the 00, but I knew that those other guys weren't going to come up and catch us from behind. So it's a good feeling. I don't think that it's not equal to my name being on the role of Xfinity champion, but it's a lot closer than I was 4 hours ago.
We're going to finish up front here with Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce from NASCAR.com. Roger, sort of along those lines, there are obviously benefits to having another team that you can put out there and you can sub drivers in and give them track time. They can learn if they've not had much experience on track or whatever. What are the benefits of winning an owner's title?
Well, I think that, you know, the sponsors, you know, Discount Tire, Fitzgerald, obviously the Rev Group here, you know, knowing we won the Owners Championship is key because, again, it's something that not everybody does. And I think the opportunity for us to field these cars, I know that Blaney this year, every time he could get in that car he wanted to because he felt he learned, and I think that's probably, you know, running that extra car or two, we've run a couple of races, has been very beneficial to the team. I might also say the first race that Sam won for us was here back, I think, what, in 2006?
Yeah.
So pretty statistic that people didn't know. So it's just been good to him. And I said today, I said, let's do what we did back in 2006. And also he won the Indy 500 that year. So it's pretty good. He's done a great job for us. So he's a guy we can always call. He's available. Sometimes I see him in that 18 or that 20. I said, woo, come on now. We need you back over here. So we had to give him some work this weekend.
You know, another good point, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it too, but when you look at the 2-car and the sponsors that go across that with Alliance Truck Parts and Worth and just the cultivation, not every sponsor is ready to go and put $15 million towards it when you get going. So being able to cultivate them, let them see what Team Penske is really all about in a little bit less stressful format where they don't feel like they're putting everything on the line for their company, allows them to build things. And I think that if you look at those sponsor relations, the greatest thing about Team Penske, if you look at it, is that most of the sponsors that are there are like 15, 20 plus years of being involved with the organization, or they thought there was a better deal out there at some point in time and they came back, after a couple years. We got a couple of those, right? So it's a good feeling that, Roger takes care of his people and the sponsors are first and foremost too.
Gentlemen, congratulations on the championship.
Thank you, Thank you, everybody.
All right, continuing our Ford EcoBoost 300 post-race media availabilities, we are joined now by our race-winning team, driver Cole Custer, crew chief Jeff Meendering, and owner Tony Stewart. Gentlemen, congratulations on a tremendous race. Before I turn it over to you, though, just want to mention, Cole, we've got confirmation that you achieved a perfect driver rating of 150.0 tonight, the first and only perfect driver rating in 2017 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So you won stage 1, you won stage 2, you won the race. Pretty solid evening for you. Tell us all about it, Cole.
Yeah, I mean, we just had an extremely good car the whole weekend, really. I mean, we came down here and tested a couple months ago, and really the second that we hit the track, we knew we were going to be really good the whole time. But really, this whole year, we've had so much speed. It's just what can happen during the race, or how the track's going to change, or just what's going to go wrong, really. But I think we really did a good job this weekend trying to get our car to race good and trying to, just comfortable and to drive and move around a little bit. So I think that's the biggest thing that we tried to do. And obviously, our car was unbelievable, and can't thank everybody enough. And I think it's a perfect way to end the season.
Jeff, for you, at what point during the race did you realize, hey, we've got a really special car and a driver who's locked in? I think we can bring this thing home tonight.
Well, like Cole said, we tested here, and it almost goes back to that test. We felt like the entire test we were 1/10 to 2/10 quicker than anybody else that was at that test. So honestly, it was great preparation by all of our guys in our shop, our engineers. I mean, they did a wonderful job preparing for that test, and just obviously it carried over.
Tony, great way to end the season for the team. Tell us from your perspective how you saw the race playing out tonight.
These guys had an awesome race car for Cole, and proud of the team, proud of the pit stops. The pit stops were awesome today. Luckily we didn't need to worry about that too much because didn't get any cautions. But just Cole did an awesome job. I mean, it's just phenomenal to see. When he got out in the lead like that. I mean, he just did such a good job of taking care of his tires in the last half of every run. It really showed up on the stopwatch. I mean, he just would drive way further and further the last half of the run. So he did an awesome job of taking care of his tires. That's something hard for a rookie to do. So I think it showed his maturity, and I'm real proud of these guys. And I think it sends a statement to everybody what hopefully they can look forward to next year with this team. So I'm proud of these guys. I think it's obviously it's a perfect way to go in the off season for these guys. So I'm proud of them. man, it just really makes me wish we could have got through Phoenix last week, because I mean he would have had a shot for sure of winning championship. So just really proud of him, and to have a brand new team, a rookie crew chief, and a rookie driver. I don't think I could be more proud than I am right now.
We'll take questions now for our race-winning team. We'll start right over here to the right with Caleb.
Caleb Whistler, KickingTheTires.net. Tony and Jeff, how much have you seen Cole grow and mature this season?
Well, he's only about maybe a quarter-inch taller, maybe. It's not really that. It hasn't been that big of a deal, but I think I'll be honest. When I met Joe and the first time he brought Cole to the shop when I was there around the same time that we were there together, I think the first probably, I don't know, I don't even think the first 3 or 4 times he came to the shop he even looked at me. I think he looked at the floor the whole time, and it was about probably the 8th or 10th time that he finally spoke to me. And I'm like, wow, you do talk. So I think this year in particular, I mean, we knew he was good last year in the truck, obviously, and to start the year, I thought he was consistent all year from square one in the first race. So it just was a matter of putting the whole day together. But I mean, you could see in his driving style, he was gaining confidence, and in both of these guys, I don't think it was just Cole. I think it was Jeff or Kevin, whatever you're going to go by today. I think they both grew together, and I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, it reminds me of when Greg Zipadelli and I started as rookie driver and crew chief together. So, this is a good pairing right now. They got trust in each other, and I think for Cole, he's definitely established himself as one of the greatest drivers of the year in the Xfinity series. I mean, his mile-and-a-half record, his average on the mile-and-a-half tracks was #1 in the series. So, he definitely showed strength in tracks that you have to be good at. So, I'm proud of him. I think he's grown a lot through the year. I think his, the second time around at these tracks, I think was huge for him in these cars, and the same for Jeff. So I think they really both grew a lot and grew together.
We'll go right here in the middle to Chris Knight.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Cole, congratulations on the win. Is there any point in your career that you've ever driven a vehicle that fast or that smooth? And how much did the experience last year driving Virginia Motorsports pay off tonight?
It was pretty crazy. I mean, even like at the end there, I can't really explain it. I mean, it feels like you're going 2 miles an hour out there, just barely in the gas, but you're half a second better than the whole field. So it's just it's weird when your car's good and when your stuff's good. It's just fast. You can't really explain it. I mean, but it was unbelievable how fast that car was. But yeah, and it was good to run that race last year here. I mean, it was definitely a learning race for sure. But I think the biggest thing was learning throughout this whole year was the bigger thing.
We'll stay right here in the middle with Jim.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. For Tony, everybody talks about who are they going to be the next stars of NASCAR. Tonight you had a 19-year-old win the championship as a rookie. You have a 19-year-old win his first race and finish, I believe, 5th in the standings as a rookie in his first season. Are they just right in front of us?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think you got to look very far. It was a great crop of young guys coming into the sport. I mean, everybody, the big buzz this year with, and especially this weekend with Matt and Dale Jr., running their last races tomorrow is, what's going to happen in the sport? Well, sport's going to be just fine. There's plenty of good talent that's coming along that are making names for themselves that will take the places of the guys that are leaving. So, I remember Brian France called me down to Daytona one day because I was in big trouble for whatever it was. I can't remember one of the multiple things I did to get him mad, but went down there and he told me something that always stuck with him. He goes, "The sport's been here long before you got here, and it'll be here long after you're gone." And it really is the truth. I mean, there were great drivers here before I got here, and there's great drivers coming behind us. So there's a lot of really good talent. Just you're used to seeing them. Before it used to be guys that got their opportunity in their late 20s and early 30s, and then it was guys in their mid 20s, and then guys in their early 20s. Now you got teenagers that are getting great opportunities, but stepping up to the plate and getting results out of it at the same time. So, I mean, they're getting great opportunities, but they're producing results at the same time.
Just for the record, you described the scene from Days of Thunder.
I did?
Yeah.
We're going to go far left over here to Christian.
That's a true story, sweetheart. Well, apparently you've watched it too many times.
Far left over here to Christian, then we'll go back to the middle of John.
Christian Coley on pitroad.com. Cole, first of all, congratulations on the win. Tonight, the only driver that really was able to compete for you for the lead was Tyler Reddick, and you both are returning next year in the Xfinity Series. Do you feel like this is something that we're going to see next year, coming to realization tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyler's been pretty unbelievable this year. He's definitely, again, Ashley and all them have gotten their cars really good the last second half of the year, I feel like, and Tyler's really stepped up to the plate, I feel like, and it was fun racing with him. I think we did have the better car there at the end. We just could hang on to a run longer. So, but it was fun racing with him. Got cross each other over a few times, and but yeah, I think obviously he's going to be with a good team in JRM next year, and I think we're going to be even stronger next year. So I think we'll have some good competition.
We'll go right here in the middle to John.
John Harville, ESPN Albuquerque. Just could all three of you briefly describe and evaluate how you feel about the stages this year, and how do you think that's played out? And if there's anything you feel like that could be adjusted, can you say that also?
Go ahead.
I mean, I think the stages are great. Obviously, coming up 4 points short, coming into the chase, probably didn't play the stage game well enough over the course of the season, and I feel like I've definitely learned from that. Going into next year, we'll definitely race different next year throughout the season to set ourselves up better for the end of the year. But I don't know. I enjoy that type of racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think it just creates more things to talk about during a race, really. I mean, I don't know if it changes our perspective a lot. It might change our strategy a little bit. But, I mean, I think it's good that, you're having cautions, in the middle of the race where it could have just been cone green, and it, creates some chaos and everything. So and some strategy also. So I think it's been a good thing for everything this year.
Yeah, I think it's been good in all three series, to be honest. I mean, it's especially if you get something that happens with about 10 laps to go in a segment. I mean, it's been fun to watch the strategy of guys that go ahead and pit, or guys that stay out for the points, and the guys that go ahead and pit, when that segment's over, they stay out, and that gives them some track position. So you get some movement in the field because of that. I think it's been a little bit of chaos, I think, for the crew chiefs. From the driver's standpoint, they're just feeding off the crew chief from that. But it has created a lot of excitement, I think. I think it's been a positive thing for the sport. I know it wasn't very popular at the beginning of the year with the fans, but, I think it's really created a lot of excitement and a lot of scenarios that I don't think we would have had without the stages. So, like I said, I think in all three series, I think we've seen that it's been a pretty positive deal and created a lot of movement in the field.
Gentlemen, congratulations on a great win, a great season, and we look forward to seeing you in Daytona.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue with our post-race media availabilities here at Homestead Miami Speedway. We are joined by a couple of members of our championship-winning team here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We have car owner Dale Earnhardt Jr. from Junior Motorsports, and we also have crew chief Dave Elenz. Gentlemen, why don't each of you, and we have Kelley Earnhardt Miller, who just snuck up here behind me, another one of our car owners here at Junior Motorsports. Why don't each of you three take us through what it means to win this championship here at Junior Motorsports, and Dave, especially for you, this is your first championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's very special to win the championship with Junior Motorsports. We put a ton of effort into this season. The last 3 years I've been there, we've worked extremely hard, which they had a great foundation when we got there. It was really fun for me to be able to race my friends. Jason and Kevin are two of my good friends, and to be running for a championship with someone you like that much it's a lot of fun. And their success throughout the year definitely helped us out. And it's just a big thank you to everybody at Junior Motorsports, and it just feels amazing to win.
Yeah. And Kelley and Dale, this is also your second championship, and you did both of it with rookie drivers.
I was going to go there. I liked 2014 when we knew at Phoenix that we were going to be the champion. This was pretty nerve-wracking today, but really proud of our organization to have three cars contending. It was super hard to watch all three and pull for all three, and so just hats off to Dave and his group and all of Junior Motorsports. I mean, they do work hard, and this is what this is what you want. And I said to someone earlier, this is real hard, and it's real hard to do. It's very challenging through the year. So I'm going to remember this when I'm ready to throw in the towel sometimes because this is really sweet.
Yeah, this is, it's so great to see so many people affected by something like this. This really, goes a lot deeper than what you see tonight. We have so many people back home in Mooresville that that company is just like a family, and we all, ride this roller coaster together, the ups and downs, and it's I go in there and see everybody just grinding away and working so hard, and it's a small enough company that everybody kind of knows each other so well, and so it's it affects a lot of people. It really is it's a great thing for Dave. I watched him work his way into this opportunity, and I'm thrilled for William with the chance to win this championship, knowing he's going to be moving on and out of the series. And but I know there's so many people back home that are over the moon, and just our company, we work so hard to just make this work. I know a lot of people that are thrilled about this, so it's good to see and love being a part of it. And Kelley's sort of the leader of the group. She's the boss. Me and Rick just sit back and smile when good things happen. But we have a lot of people that are that are responsible for our cars being so competitive. It starts with all our crew chiefs. We get great drivers, great opportunity to work with a lot of different drivers. But when you get the cars right, those drivers can get everything out of them. And so we've really outdone ourselves over the last couple of years, getting an opportunity to work with Dave and Jason and all those guys that's come in there to help us sort of get our cars going.
And before we open it up to questions, we are actually being joined by our championship driver, William Byron, who, in addition to winning the NASCAR Xfinity Series championship in his rookie year, is also the Sunoco Rookie of the Year. William, we're just going to turn it over to you. Why don't you tell us what it's like to be the champion?
It's awesome. This is an incredible feeling, and just thankful for all the people that have made it happen. Dale, Kelley, really LW. The first meeting we had was when I was 15 years old, and talking about running a late model was actually this weekend. So it's come a long way, and just very thankful for everyone that's made it happen.
We're going to open up to questions. We'll start on the far right side of the room with Joseph and Jordan, and then we'll come up front to Holly and Lee.
Joseph Walken, frontstretch.com. Dale, we've seen Kevin Harvick and now Brad Keselowski pull away from the ownership realm. What made you stick with it all these years, and how do you see it changing moving forward?
Well, honestly, it's, like I said, Kelley runs the company every day and has her fingers on everything going on. And when I sit down with her and she goes over the ups and downs of our company, it's really just about, staying on our budget, everybody in the company sort of understanding the objective for us. It's dollars and cents. And, our guys have to make everything they can out of what we have to work with. So, Kelley's very good at, keeping that culture alive. LW and Pemberton and those people understand the challenges that we face financially every year. Any owner in the series is going to face those challenges. So we just have, we've had opportunities to pair with some really, really incredible partners. We have opportunities to work with really awesome race car drivers like William. And those are the things that get you excited to keep going and go back to the racetrack the next year. There's a lot of turnover, which is probably not the exact word for it, but there's a lot of change in the Xfinity Series year to year. But man, when you get a chance to work with Chase Elliott's and Brad Keselowski's, and you get to work with some of your peers when they come drive the cars, Harvick and everybody else. It's just really those are things that get you excited, get the company excited. And that keeps you going back to the track. We we have an alliance with HMS that gives us opportunity to have performance gain from that alliance, and we try to be an asset to them. We've kind of turned ourselves into a little farm team, not only for drivers like William, but for crew chiefs, for over-the-wall guys. We try to make that system, very beneficial toward HMS, to where they want that alliance, and it works for them and works for us. So it's been great to shape it into that over the last probably 4 or 5 years.
We'll stay in the far right with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, SB Nation. This is for Dale and William. First, Dale, how is this for a retirement gift? And William, how is this nice to give Dale a championship on his big weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for William. What this kid he's a total package. Obviously, we see he's got talent, and but I think what is going to be exciting for me, Kelley, LW, Dave, everybody that already knows him so well, is to watch everybody else get to know what kind of person he is. And as he goes on in the Cup Series and gets introduced to the fans and the industry more, it's going to be fun to hear everybody else see what we already see. So I appreciate William's efforts. Came in as a rookie. We never had to worry about any rookie mistakes. He's drove like a veteran all year, and thrilled for him to be able to take this trophy and put it into his resume as he moves on up into the Cup Series next year.
Yeah, I would say it's just it's been an awesome few years to come back to this company and really grow with it, and to see the commitment they had to me to get me back to this point in the Xfinity Series and run for a championship and put the people around me that it would take to do that is really awesome. So we learned a lot this year. Dave and I got so much better together, and we really were at our best the last few races. So just thankful for everything that Dale, Kelley, LW, Mr. Hemric have given me. It's a total team effort, and it's really cool.
We'll come up front to Holly and then go to Lee and Jim.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Congratulations to you all. Kelley, you kind of alluded to this, so whoever would like to talk about it, but it was certainly dramatic in the last few laps there. Would you like to talk about the final outcome and kind of what went down in the last 10 laps?
Well, I'd really like to know. I'd actually like to know from William something I'm curious about. So, when Elliott got position on you, you had been in front of Elliott for most of the night. You had a little more speed on the early part of the run and could get that position on him, and it was hard for him to get back by you, but eventually he did. You came over the radio screaming about how loose your car was. How did you gain composure or just chill out to where you just waited patiently, and next thing you know, you have the speed to get back up there and challenge him? I was just really amazed by how that happened, and that's just something I thought as soon as you came over the radio and said your car was extremely loose, really, really loose, I didn't think that you would make that comeback. I was just really impressed by that and would like you to explain to me how you got it, how you pulled together like that. It was so impressive.
I don't know. It's just kind of like the, really when Elliott would get in front of me, I'd get tighter. And so it would help me a little bit to kind of have him in front of me. And then when I started to get to running against the wall, the closer I got, the more grip I had on exit, and kind of used it like a cushion. And it was working that way for me before, but I was a little bit tight, and it was easier to do it. So I had to be kind of right against it and kind of feel it out and just kind of control my throttle input, so I didn't hit the right front with it. But I don't know, it just worked out. So I don't really know, but it was I was thinking the same thing when it got really loose on me. I was thinking I don't know how I'm gonna figure this one out. So it just worked out.
It was crazy.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Kelley, were you ever afraid they were going to get together and you were going to just kind of, watch it? I mean, at that point, you knew somebody was going to win from JRM because Hemric was out of it. But, I mean, at that point, are you just wondering what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah, I was thinking, actually, as they were talking, I look at things from a business point of view most of the time. These guys are the competitors and looking at the competition side of things. So for me, I was going through my mind, please don't wreck each other. Sat on the 7 box for most of the race with Rick Brandt. I know how bad he wanted a championship. I walked down to the 9, OneMain is there. I know how bad they would like a championship, sticking with us again this year and next year. And then to think about William, who is moving on, and this is the only opportunity that he would have to win an Xfinity championship. So it was very difficult to, just my emotions were everywhere, and I just didn't want them to wreck each other because I don't want to stand. Knowing that you were going to have one as the champion, I don't want to have to stand in front of them on December 6th when we have our Christmas luncheon and we're celebrating, knowing that I'm looking at a group that got wrecked by another one or anything like that. So I'm glad that it all worked out the way it did, and we can, like Dave said, we're all racing as friends and the family atmosphere that we have, and I didn't want anything like that to happen. So.
And Dale, Kyle Busch came in here last night, and he's had some really gifted talent come through his doors, whether it's William, Eric Jones. Last night we saw with Seabell. He said that William has the best racecraft of any of the drivers that has come through there. What makes him so special and distinguishes him among his peers?
Yeah, some guys just have it. Some just some people just have it in them. He shouldn't, be able to do what he did tonight at his age with the limited experience he has, but he has it. He just has whatever it is about his mental toughness and his ability to remain calm and in a very high pressure situation is going to serve him well in this job for sure. And I would, I think that you have to give Kyle some credit for grooming drivers like William. William has to understand what a great car feels like to know how to find it again, and he has to understand what he's looking for in how when he wants a fast car, and it's his sensations and so forth, and being able to get in Kyle's trucks, he certainly learned a lot. So we're really, really glad he came back. But he just, some people just have that, and it's something mentally, and he's just getting started. It's going to be impressive to watch him as he really, starts to get more and more confidence in himself and people around him.
We'll go to Jim and then Bob.
JimMutterMotorsport.com for Kelley. I can't imagine a more emotional weekend. You come down as a team owner who has a chance to win a championship 3 different ways, and your brother is getting ready to probably start what will be his last Cup Series race. Dale's talked a lot about looking forward, what he's looked forward to this weekend. I just wondered what your thoughts were. What have you been looking forward to this weekend, not looking forward to it, or what you thought about tomorrow?
Yeah, I haven't really, as far as looking forward to it, I haven't really thought about, getting here. I said earlier, you never think about what the end looks like, and it's been so fun to relive memories and watch all these videos and watch all these tributes, and today is about winning this championship, and then watching Dale tomorrow. I don't want to cry. Dale says I'm a crier. I am the crier of the family. But I know tomorrow's going to be emotional. You think of everything that, all the memories we've made and all the different things that you've done, and look back on all that. And while you're doing that, you don't ever think about, when it's going to end. I'm super excited for him, though, because he got to make this choice, and he's got so much fun on the horizon with kids. I can't wait till he has a kid, for lots of reasons, because being a parent is awesome. And he likes to tell me how to raise mine sometimes, so I can't wait till he gets to make those decisions for himself. He don't tell me how to do it, but sometimes he questions how I do it, right? So I can't wait for him to have that experience, he and Amy, and just get to, who gets to to finish one career and start something else. And so with the broadcasting and freeing up some other time to do things that maybe we've said no to along the way, you know, in TV or anything else that he wants to do, you know, I'm just excited for him to have that opportunity to sort of, you know, live a whole nother life and be normal. And I'm excited we get to plan things on the weekend and camping trips and family time and fun time and things like that. So it'll be fun for all of us to have him back on some of those weekends.
We'll go to Bob, then we'll come over here to the left, and we'll wrap up with Christian.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. I have two. First for William, what do you think this does for your confidence going into the Cup Series next year?
You know, I think it just kind of confirms what Dave and I have been working on all year, and that's finding the feel we want, finding the speed we want. And really for us, I mean, we've grinded out the last couple weeks, you know, whether it's in the simulator or just some conversations and just figuring out what it is that we really needed. And I think that's what it did most for me is, like what Dale said, you know, I had a chance to go to Kyle's and figure out what it's like to drive some, you know, the competition in that series, the trucks they have, it's incredible. So, you know, to come here and there's a lot more competition and you have to know what you want to feel in the race car and the races are longer, it helped me understand how to get from point A to point B and in the race how I want to be. So Dave's helped with that. Everyone has, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me.
And for Dale, has this been a kind of a good distraction for you on this weekend? And if Hemric had won it, would it have impacted your mood at all tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you know, I would be disappointed for the company for sure, but you know, it's hard not to, after, you know, watching this battle come down to here. We got to know Daniel, you know, through the media and so forth, and through his peers that have raced against him coming up through the ranks. And what an incredible, you know, young man with so much potential and talent. And he would have been an incredible champion, a worthy champion had he won. And so it would have, you know, we'd have got a great champion tonight no matter who was going to win it. But, yeah, I mean, to have three guys out of the four in it and not win would have been very disappointing for the company. You know, you just think, you know, hell with me. I mean, you think about all the employees back home and how that's going to affect their mood. And it, you know, you got an off season to get people fired up and get them back on the horse and going again. Try to get back here next year. Winning that championship really helps. So we're excited about taking a little break and then getting back to the grind.
Is it good that you had like 3 hours today where you're not thinking about tomorrow necessarily?
I mean, I didn't know if I enjoyed the last 20 laps. I really didn't. I was sick. I was so sick on my stomach. You know, I don't know what I was feeling because you're watching. You know, one guy's not going to win it and one guy is, and it's hard. It's hard to feel that happiness and that sadness at the same time. But so yeah, as they were changing positions, it was just gut wrenching. It was really gut wrenching, regardless of how great the race was freaking great. But as they kept changing positions, it was just really turning my stomach. But glad it worked out for us.
Go here.
Steve Sweitz at Alaska Press. Dale, it appears you're already beginning that transition into your new career. Do you have any other interview questions for William?
Yeah, hopefully he talks good about me next year on TV.
I think he's going to give me a lot of reasons.
We'll wrap up over here with Christian.
Christian Colley on pitroad.com. First of all, congrats to everybody. Dave, this question's for you. You know, this is the first year you've been a full-time crew chief in the Xfinity Series. You've kind of been the guy to oversee the all-star car. How does it feel to win a championship in your first year overseeing a full-time operation?
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, last year coming down here and watching the 7 and the 1 run, you know, and not having the opportunity to race them, it kind of makes you feel sad a little bit. So, you know, when we got the opportunity to work full-time with William this year, our group was really excited because all the guys that are on our team have, you know, always been with the all-star group. They've been together for a little while now. And, you know, the goal from everybody was to get to this point with William. So it just feels really good to finally be able to be a part of it and then to be able to accomplish that.
All right, well, Dave, Kelley, William, and Dale, congratulations on winning the 2017 championship.